Hello beauties, you are welcome to this tutorial. So as you can see, this is the dress we'll be making. So in this pattern, you see that I fold it into two and I'm folding it, and I'm going to fold it into two again to make it by 4. And after doing that, I'll bring out the markings. I used 10 inches as the armhole depth because this is a free dress and it's a butterfly, as you can see. So as you saw in the first image, you see that the flying part did not start from the down part, it started from the new. So now I'm making my markings by dividing my markings by 4, and I'll add about 2 inches for easing. So that 2 inches for easing will enable it fitting into the person's body without even adding any zip, and it will be very free on the person's body. So my hip measurement is 43 and I divided it by 4. It gave me 10.5. I added 2 inches for easing. So whatever I marked at the from, I decided to bring out the new length where I will start curving my butterfly. So the measurement you used at your hip measurement, that is what you also used on the down part. That is the new part, and also on the down part. So I used about 14 inches for the hip line. So that is also what I'm going to be using at the down part, that is at the full length part. And as you can see, I'm measuring it down. At the down part, I added about 1 inch and I curved it up to the hip line and also to the bust area. So I'm cutting. Make sure to align your fabric. So on that nail part, you are going to curve your hands because that is where the butterfly is going to be starting from upwards. So when you are marking, so I'm just trying to split the fabric into two on this part because it was folded. So when you are cutting, make sure you align your fabrics. This is a chiffon fabric that I'm using in this tutorial. You can also use chiffon if you like. You can use Ankara, you can use any material of your choice. So on the, you can see that I use 4 inches for the neck depth of the back and 4 inches for the neck width. And now I'm going to remove about 1 inch for this. 1 inch is for shoulder sloping. So now this is the front part. The front part is going to be V, just the way you saw in the image. In this part, you are going to see that in this part I used 5.5 inches for the neck depth and I used 4 inches for the neck width, and it is V, so I did not cut it round. If you see the way I make it slanted, not that curvy. That is 4 inches for the neck depth, and I'm also removing 1 inch for shoulder sloping at the front. So this is the inner of the dress. and I folded into two. I'm folding into two again to make it into four, just the way we marked on the other fabric, but this one is going to be inside, so we are not going to be bringing out any butterfly edges. So we just bring out our basic body measurement. These four lines is our armhole depth, our bust point, our hip line, and the new line. So after bringing out these lines, I marked my markings and divide by 4. I added 2 inches for easing and also 1 inch for seam allowance, all down. So on this part, whatever you marked on your shoulder line, that is what you also mark on your armhole depth. Then you find the midpoint and connect your armhole depth. That is the midpoint. So for the neck width, I used 4 inches for the back, and I used about 6 inches for the front. I did not. Then for the neck width, I used 4 inches. I did not make it V at this time because this material is going to be inside. So this is the sewing part. You bring your bias strip and open it, then you put it on your fabric, that is the neck side, and you stitch. You can decide to fold yours if you like, but I just decided to use this bias strip on this particular neck so that it will be neater. So as you can see, that is the V point. So I'm trying to fold the bias so that it will align very well when I'm going to make the V pointed, so that the pointed part of the V will come out. So this is the front, and the back part you are going to do the same thing, using bias strip to close the edge of the neckline so that it will be very, very neat. You can decide to use another fabric to do this if you like, and you can also fold yours too if you don't have bias. So you can see that this neck is round. Now you are going to place the front fabric on the back fabric, using the right side facing each other. You use 1/2 inch to hold the shoulder line and hold till the end. You do the same thing to the other side too. So the fabric turning it inside out, you starting from the downside, you mark about 1 inch and sew it all through to the part you curve that the butterfly is going to be starting from. That is where you will end your sewing with 1 inch. You can see the curvy part, that place is where we're going to stop. That is where the butterfly is going to start from when you turn it outside. So to have your armhole, you use 10 inch because it is a free dress. Now measuring your fabric the way you are seeing me doing, you bring out your basic bodice measurements. I used 5 inch on both sides. Then on the waistline I used 4. Then on the hip line I used 3. This is because the down part from the upside, you see that the more it's coming down, the smaller the butterfly ruffles is getting. So that is why I reduced my hand while bringing out the measurements. The person doesn't really want the ruffles to be that much. That is why I used 5 inches. So when you are sewing, you sew it to the place where you stopped. Yes, that's the new part. That is where you are going to stop your sewing. You turn it to the other side, starting from your edge. You bring out your markings. Starting from the edge, bring out your 5-inch marking. You can extend it if you like, but I just used this one because that is what the person needed. Make sure you align your fabric. So starting from that point where you turned your fabric inside out, you will start sewing it inside so that that is the new point. That is where the butterfly started from. So that is where you are going to stop your sewing. Now you fold your edges, your ruffles edges. Starting from the shoulder, you fold your edge and start sewing the way you are seeing me do it. Fold 1/2 inch inside and fold it again and sew all through round. So you can see the way I'm doing it now. So on your shoulder line, you get your so from this shoulder line, starting from your shoulder line, you fold inside and fold inside again, about half inch inside. You see the way I'm doing it. Fold 1/2 inch inside and fold it inside again. This is to enable the edge very neat. Now you come to the down side. You can see the butterfly is ready. So now you come to the down part. You fold about half inch inside and fold again, just the same way you did to the ruffle. Just fold like that too. So this is the inner. So you can see you place this is lining, so it doesn't have front or back, but as you are sewing it, it's going, you just place the front part, the front piece on the back piece, and sew the edge of the shoulder line, just the way you are seeing me doing. You sew it that way on the both side. On this part, I'm not going to be using bias to turn the neckline, so I'm folding half inches inside and I will fold again. Stitch and sew. Ensure you stitch your fabric so that it will not loose. Make sure that you join your shoulders before folding the neckline. But if you like, you can also fold before joining. That one would also be nice. It's just your choice. When you are done sewing the neckline, you also sew your armhole line, your armholes. So this is to enable it to be very neat, because the person is going to be wearing it inside and it's not going to be, so you are going to fold it inside out and fold just the neckline. So you are seeing the armhole part now. I'm folding it inside and I will fold again. So after folding, you mark about 1 inch. Make sure you fold both sides the same way, folding ½ inch inside and folding it inside again. This is to enable the edge to be neat. When you are done with that, you starting from your armhole depth, you mark about 1.5 inches from the edge. That is the seam allowance you added. That is what you will be marking, and you sew it all through down, because it's just going to be a free dress and it's going to be inside the other dress. And remember, it is a free dress. Sorry, my short just gave me trouble. So after sewing that way on the both sides, coming to the down part, you fold 2 times, 1 inch inside, and fold another 1 inch inside. That is 2 inches. You fold 1 inch inside and fold another 1 inch inside. This is to make the down part to be neat as well. If you have any question, you can ask on the comment section. And if you have any style you want me to create a video on for you, you can also show me the picture. You can also visit our web page on Facebook, Edinglo Fashion World. So this is the outcome of the dress. You see the outcome of the dress. You can see the V part. If you love this video, please give it a thumbs up.